Hi everyone, my name is Megan Topping and I'm the Director of Corporate Engagement for 10,000 Degrees, and I'm here today to give a power talk on our 10,000 Degrees Career Network, learnings from the pilot phase, which took place sort of March to September. A little bit of background on 10,000 Degrees. We're a San Francisco Bay Area based college success program. Our mission is to achieve educational equity and to support students from low-income backgrounds to and through college. And here's the part that relates to the network: to positively impact their communities and the world. Our students, 100% are from low-income backgrounds, 85% are first gen, 89% are students of color. One important note is that we're very community-based. We support over 12,000 student and family members through college knowledge and financial aid workshops, and then we support another 2,400 college students to and through to baccalaureate. But again, we're community-based, not merit-based. There's no GPA requirement, for example, to participate in our programming. So our through line or our model is believe, empower, connect. We believe in the potential of all students. And so if you want to be part of our programming, we support you. How we do that is a wraparound approach between a scholarship as well as a fellow, which I'll explain in a minute, who supports a student to and through. And then we have our fellowship program, which is near peer college advisors, many of whom are alum of our program, who come back to support a cohort of students on a college or high school campus. Our career and graduate school readiness is a slightly different model in that we are very small. We have one manager of career success, and then I work part-time on this career readiness, and then the director of four-year and alumni success does so as well. So that sort of lent itself to how do we advance this career and graduate school readiness. So why did we create a career network? And these were some of the thoughts I just mentioned. It really makes sense in terms of our mission. If we want to support students to positively impact their communities and the world, how do we support them more immediately and successfully launching their careers? And how can we do that without competing with our scarce college success resources? If you're a nonprofit, you're always fundraising. And so the idea is, how could we do this without sort of taking away resources from one to bring to the career success efforts? And then how can we engage 10,000 Degrees supporters and partners in a meaningful, valuable, and virtual way? During this virtual time, our events on campuses stopped. And so we were looking for something that truly, we only try to do things that will be meaningful and valuable for everyone involved. And this seemed like a logical sort of win-win space to encourage both supporters and students to get involved. And then the final note is that we were looking for a way to document career relationships, that this knowledge that sort of had existed on a one-off basis. So I might, for example, introduce a student to somebody in finance, but we didn't have that institutional knowledge for other students. Like, where could you go to learn more about a career in finance, for example? So the goals of the mentoring program, or the networking program, I should say, is to provide career success support to 10,000 Degrees college students. We also included recent alumni and fellows by connecting them to the knowledge and experience of the broader 10,000 Degrees community of alumni and supporters. And we sort of categorized the two groups of in the network as mentors and mentees. And interestingly, especially recent alumni sort of became both mentees and mentors in this model. And the goals for the mentees were very broad, but that we hoped that by participating that they could advance their career sort of understanding or goals or confidence. And so we left it very broad because, again, we're working with students across a pretty broad spectrum in terms of college and career development and readiness. So who participated in the pilot? The mentees who signed up, there were about 65 who signed up, and it was across the spectrum of students, alumni, and fellows. I want to be clear that they opted in and requested this support. This was not something mandatory. And it was designed so that the mentees could use the network independently on their own schedule, and for their own purposes, and that we would be in the background, but there to support them and answer questions as needed. We had about 85 mentors sign up. These were individual supporters, alumni, and employees of corporate partners. And we found that they really showed up from across industry and job functions, and they had experiences anywhere from just very recent college graduates to years of experience. So all this information was shared in a survey to assist mentees in selecting good matches in terms of who they might want to reach out to. So as you can see, the network and the pilot required quite a bit of initiative on the part of the mentees who participated to self-select and determine who they wanted to reach out to. So the general format, again, is we put together this outreach survey for both mentors and mentees, and in it, that included job functions in industry and why they were involved and why they signed up. For the mentors, we had a separate introductory session to talk about the 10,000 Degrees Way, the strength-based, non-judgmental approach that we use in all our interactions. That we included sort of the general background to the student population and how broad and diverse it is, and then strategies for building relationships. In the introductory session for mentees, we talked about the parameters of the program and how they might want to utilize it, and also who are our mentors and why they decided to participate. And I think one of the sort of hurdles to get over is some of these mentors look very professionally successful, and yet in the survey, we could show that they too were first generation or were very, didn't know what they wanted to do when they graduated from college, sort of to bring sort of a bridge to the relationship. And finally, what we did was then we shared the database of participants with both groups and provided ongoing communications on how to utilize it, what you might want to consider, and how to support students. We even encouraged at one point mentors to reach out to mentees if they felt like they saw somebody that they could be useful to in terms of their own experience. So key learnings from the pilot. I would say the mentees who utilized the pilot, you can see from a couple of these that they really were able to not only have a great career conversation, but then either create a relationship with an individual, but also then to help better understand what their career path and how they might grow as a part of their own career trajectory based on having utilized this network. And I think we can say that the mentors definitely got a lot out of it. Some of the mentors who had sort of obscure job functions or industries, I'm not sure they ever got reached out to. But in general, I think people were really happy to be able to support students that might not have networks of their own, to broaden those networks and to give professional advice. And then also, I think I enjoyed the one comment from one of the mentors who basically said she also just felt like it's a two-way street mentoring, and that she really loved learning from the perspectives that she got from the different mentees. So what worked, I would say, is it was a really valuable tool for the mentees who utilized it. Students and alumni were able to learn a lot and have conversations that often even led to other connections. And as mentioned, for mentors, it was a meaningful way to support 10,000 Degrees. I think also one of the things that we noticed was that it's relatively easy to scale. We could have gone out and gotten twice as many students and mentors, I think, if we'd wanted. We wanted to keep it small at this point to see, how it worked. What needs further work? The network was definitely underutilized, and I think some of it was people needed reminders to use it, but I think also there was a comfort level, even though people had opted into this network, that it still didn't feel 100% comfortable to reach out to somebody they didn't know, even though they knew that they would be interested in hearing from them. And so it was definitely underutilized. Two of the things that came out of that was maybe as part of the introductory sessions, we do some sort of small group events with mentees and mentors in a job function or an industry, so that they can gain comfort prior to reaching out one-to-one in a small group setting. And the other consideration we had was, should we tier the connection so that the first connection that a student would have would be with a young alumni, and then together that they could then go reach out to a more senior professional and learn from them, all in the same job function or industry, for example. We definitely want to make sure all industries and job functions are represented. Some were a bit underrepresented in the 85 mentors in the pilot. And I think we agreed that it would benefit from more structure. So there'd literally be a calendar of events of when you sign up, not sort of an ongoing process, and a calendar of events in terms of these introductory workshops and the small group events. And then also just maybe adding some events that we're already doing to make sure that these individuals are aware that they could participate in those as well. The final note was that we did realize it was not a full-time job, but it definitely in a pilot phase, as well as just anything that you do, you want to make sure that the quality is good. And so it probably took a little bit more management than we thought it anticipated. So final thoughts, the framework has incredible potential to support students on their career journeys while engaging supporters, back to the win-win. It just makes lots of sense. It's definitely worth considering what's the best format or what should supplemental venues be. For example, should we have the database, but then also have Slack channels for certain industries, like if the computer engineers and the software engineers would all collaborate on a Slack channel. But I think we agreed internally that it's worth investing in formalizing the program. And we also agreed, and this is something we're doing now, is it would be more valuable once we've integrated it into general career success programming. So it fits into certain career success objectives that the organization might have. So if you have any questions, I put my name and my email down below. Thank you all for listening. And again, I'm happy to answer any questions via email that individuals might have. Thank you so much.